Hello, good evening, everyone. Myself Anand Subramanian. Today we'll be talking about not-for-profit organizations. Now, what exactly is not-for-profit organizations? In 11th standard, we had studied about this final accounts of sole trading concern, and in 12th, we had studied about final accounts of partnership concerns. Now, basically, generally, what happens is business is done with the intention to make profits. Okay, because whenever anybody enters into any business, his or her or any organization that is in that it intends to make profits. Okay, fine. Now coming on to not for profit organization, but all organizations are not formed or do not have this idea of any profits. Some of the organizations do it for service. Okay, now we'll just go to some examples. Like for example, you can say a cooperative society. Now the basic idea of a cooperative society is nothing but a society where you all reside generally. Okay, you can say a complex or a building which is registered under the Cooperative Societies Act. Now, their main intention is not to make any profits. Their main intention is to provide service to its members. Like what service? Like for example, the common area electricity charges. Okay, now who will be bearing that or who will be paying that? We all pay for our this house electricity based on how much we use. Now, how do we come to know how much electricity is used by so and so member or so and so person, and how can we distribute it? So, what happens is every member of the society contributes certain amount towards what, towards the functioning or towards for the maintenance of the society, and from that maintenance charges or something like that, the electricity bill is paid. Same way the water charges. Okay, now you can't make account that okay, if family where only 3 members are residing, they will be using less water, or a family where there are 6 members, they will be using more of water. It can happen in the reverse manner also. Suppose all the 6 members of the family are going for work, they may not be using that much of water, but the remaining people where there are only 3 members, they may be totally at home, they may be using more amount of water. So here same way, a person who stays in first floor maybe not be using a lift, a person who stays in the 12th floor may be using a lift. Now that person will the first floor person will come and say, I am not using a lift, so why should I pay that? So this is where cooperative society comes into the picture. We cannot actually quantify or qualify this expenses directly with the usage. So what is done is based on whatever this area, or based on whatever the what do you say, the built up area, or whatever the house this is, based on that the charges is being paid, and that gets collected, and from that the expenses are done. And now basically who handles everything? It is not handled by a professional manager or someone. In some of the housing complexes now, in big complexes, yes, definitely professional managers are hired, but traditionally in those days, okay, where there are only 1 or 2 building complexes or something like that, one chairman would be there, one secretary would be there, one treasurer would be there, and they would not charge anything to the society. They would just do it on a honorary basis. So basically the reason for these things is because the main intention for such organizations was not to make any profits. Now the building or the society is not intending as okay, let us collect so and so money, let us expend so and let us make so much amount of profit. No, it will try to see to it that to the extent possible it will minimize the cost. This is one such example. Then another example of a non-profit organization is nothing but our you can say the schools, the colleges. Okay, you may say now the schools and colleges, okay, their intention is not to make profit. Basically that is the idea with which the schools or colleges are started, because the schools and colleges cannot be started by an individual. It has to be started by a trust. It has to be started by a trust. Now basically whenever a trust is being formed, the intention is not to make any profits, the intention is to provide service. So similarly in schools also, the intention is not to make any profits, the intention is to provide service. Having said that, if a non-profit, not for profit organization, if it makes any profit, okay, that is not against the law. It is not doing something against the rules or something. It can make profits, but the intention of it is not to make any profits. Similarly, some gymkhana, okay, like Khar gymkhana, or say maybe Dombivli gymkhana, or whatever the gymkhana is. So the members come there to recreate, okay, to enjoy stuffs, and the facilities are provided to the members. some are lifetime members, some are members for a year or so, whatever it is. Okay, so the main intention again of such things is not to make profits, it is to provide service to the society. In the process, if there is any profit that is being made, that is a separate issue. Okay, fine. Now generally the basic difference between a company final accounts or a proprietorship final accounts or a partnership final accounts is, generally we prepare the trading account, we prepare the profit and loss account, we prepare, say maybe in some cases partnership they prepare the partners capital account, and in some cases in the balance sheet itself the capital accounts are adjusted. But here in not for profit organizations there is no trading account being prepared, and the profit and loss account will be replaced, by something called as income and expenditure account. Okay, balance sheet remains as it is. Now how do we identify a sum related to the not for profit organizations? See, in normal final accounts what is given is trial balance is given and certain adjustments are given, whereas in not for profit organizations you are given the receipts and payments account. Yes, you heard it right, it is receipts and payments account. Now what is basically receipts and payments account? Receipts and payments account is nothing but cash and bank account. Okay, in 11th standard we had already studied about what is cash book, and in cash book we have studied about the cash column and the bank column, double column cash books. So similarly here there is a receipt and payment account where there is no bifurcation between the cash and the bank. Okay, what is given is the receipts and payments account is given. I'll just show you something. See, this will be the receipts and this will be the payments. This is the credit side and this is the debit side. It's also called as receipts and payments account. This is nothing but cash or bank account. Now this starts with to balance. Now what is this to balance? It starts with either cash positive balance or bank positive balance or both. It may also start with by balance brought down, bank overdraft. Now the reason why I have only written bank overdraft, why I have not written cash, is because cash can never start with by balance, because cash always is either positive or zero balance. Cash cannot be negative. Okay, fine. Now apart from that, the receipts during the year is given, and here payments during the year is given. Now receipts are classified into two. One is revenue receipts, other is capital receipts. Similarly, the payments are also classified into two. One is revenue payments, other is capital payments. Now mind you, whatever money is coming into the business during the year, whether it is pertaining to current year, whether it is pertaining to last year, or whether it is pertaining to next year, it doesn't matter. It will come in cash account. Okay, it will come in cash, that is cash and bank account, that is the receipts and payments account. Only thing is you have to identify what is a revenue receipt, what is a capital receipt. Similarly, whatever amount we have paid during the year, whether it is pertaining to the current year, whether it is pertaining to the previous year, or whether it is pertaining to the next year, it doesn't matter. Okay, only thing is whether it has gone out of the business, that is what we have to see. Okay, then here it will be by balance. So it started with to balance. Okay, this was the balance with which we started the business during the year. This is the balance with which we will close the year. Here we started with by balance. If it is there, we will start with that. Okay, to balance, again this will be bank overdraft. Now the receipts and payments account basically will tally, but we are not supposed to prepare the receipts and payments account in the sum because it will be given. Okay, what I am going to tell is, this is what is the basic sum, this is how the question will be framed. As in final accounts of proprietorship or partnership, trial balance is given. Similarly, in NPO, that is not for profit organizations, the receipts and payments account is given and certain adjustments are given based on which we have to solve the sums. Okay, I hope you're clear with the receipts and payments account. Thank you.